You left Rockstar in 2020 and
Mhm.
eventually launched Absurd Ventures, as we've been talking about. What do you miss about your time at Rockstar? Is there specific moments that bring you joy when you think about them?
Of course, it was my whole, it was my life for 20 something years, 21 years or something.
Yeah.
It was, and I moved to America to do it and grew up doing it. And I was always living in New York. It was at times very intense and at other times magical experience. But it was also just a huge chunk of my life.
The lows and the highs.
And the middles. It was just my life. My
Yeah.
life was that job and the people I knew in New York and my family. And we were doing something that was intense and innovative and both loved and hated by wider society in different ways and at different times, and in this weird company that was constantly in trouble. So it was really fun.
Just even looking back at that time to today, how did you evolve as a creative mind across those 20 years?
Well, I was a child. I was a 25-year-old child
Hmm.
who didn't know anything, and I wanted to be a writer, but I still wasn't writing. And I bought a notebook and I'd occasionally scribble in it. And I still got those notebooks somewhere. And I was working in video games, which were the least literary medium it's possible to imagine at the time. There was no room for that on PS1 games, really.
Hmm.
Um, Thinking I needed to stop and do something else, but not having the skills or the confidence to do it. And I'd been doing that in London. Then I came to New York, and it was fun, really fun to be in New York, and really fun to do a new company in New York. And that was an amazing adventure, but I was still lost as a human being. And then when I was 27, I was still completely lost, a child, and I stopped some of my bad behavior. And the next day, pretty much the chance to work on open world games and all the skills I'd half learnt over the previous years and my way of thinking, where I thought about space a lot because I was a geographer rather than a historian, came together, and I got the chance to work on open world games. So it felt like it was meant to be. It was fun to explore, but really fun to explore with this team that was, Alex Horton and Naveed and Leslie and the guys in Scotland and all the people in New York making these new games in this new way, and going, oh, we need to find 100 voices where we've got no money. How the hell are we going to do that? We'll get everyone's friends in and just record 4 lines of dialogue each, as we kind of would invent the way that pedestrians would speak in video games. No one else was doing that kind of stuff. It was insane. So I think that period from kind of 2001, 2005, it was lots of early innovation and felt really exciting because we were doing new stuff. It felt creative, but it didn't feel like writing yet. Just becoming that. But it felt doing lots of creative things and learning how to assemble the stuff and learning what it could take. And then I think we talked about it earlier, but the journey into doing GTA 4, when it began to feel more like a proper writing experience. And I was kind of probably ready for that at that point. And then I was like, well, this is better than films. This is something that films can't do. This 360-degree experience of being this immigrant. And it still felt like we were still only scratching the surface. I mean, it still feels like that now in some ways, but it still felt like, and then that 5 games, GTA 4 and 5, Red Dead 1 and 2, all the extra packs for them, and Max Payne 3, I think we took the games thematically into new places through that period. From a writing perspective, that was the most exciting period. From a business and sort of early creativity period, the period 2001 to 2005 was probably the most exciting. The original starting team, we were all doing well. Personal life was doing okay. Didn't feel like such a mess. And then from 2007 onwards, 7, 8, was happy personally, having children, happily married, and the games were just getting much better, but there were lots of pressure in the business. It was just, and the budgets got really big. So I had this other stress. So there's always good bits and stresses, but, and always just tried to show up and do my best and think about how I could do it in a new way. Always trying to go, it's a new medium. What can we do that's new?
But as a writer, as a scholar of human nature, first of all, were you surprised that you were actually able, like you had it in you, through humor and tragedy, to create these incredibly compelling characters? Because I think I remember reading somewhere that James Joyce, when he was 20, said that he's going to be the greatest writer ever. And I feel like every 20-year-old says this. It's just James Joyce pulls it off.
Yes.
So were you were you surprised that you were actually able to do it? And how did that person get better and better and better at writing as you evolved?
The team got better and better, so we could write in a more ambitious way. The animation got better, so we could support it in a better way. We could go deeper. Like, I mean, you couldn't go that deep on a PS2 game. So it was also just the technology evolved. I don't know. I felt like I was good at doing it and well trained for it, and I'd been in the right place at the right time, and I was both lucky and had a way of thinking about characters that, when you reduce them to about 10 sentences, was amusing. I think I was, and it was, and I saw the world in a holistic way, and saw society in a holistic way that you could break apart into an open world video game. I thought about it a bunch. The way I think about things was suitable for that, for whatever reason. That was just good fortune.